Hello and welcome back to the channel once again. This is Alan Presents. I am Alan, this is Leanne.
Hi!
As you've no doubt already seen from the title card, this is our WrestleMania prediction. So WrestleMania is this coming weekend. 2 nights. It's going to be the most stupendous 2-night WrestleMania of all time, Leanne. Stupendous.
The most stupendous 2-night WrestleMania they've ever done.
How many have they done?
2?
So far, yeah, this is the third. The first one was because of COVID.
Yeah.
It was alright. It was good for what they had to work with.
Yeah.
You know, no audience, no crowd, nothing. There was just an empty arena in the performance center, and the guys and girls just sort of got on with it, and great. Last year's was rained out. It got delayed. The matches weren't that great.
Yeah. So they haven't exactly got much competition.
But Leanne, stupendous.
Stupendous.
We might have to put a little ticker number thing on this to see how many we get, but that might be too much hard work.
Probably.
Yeah, so it's 2 nights. So as such, this is not going to be one video because that will go really long because there's 7 matches on each night. Ooh. It's going to be 2 videos. So this is going to be the Saturday predictions.
This is going to be the most stupendous 2-part WrestleMania predictions video we've ever done.
How many times are you going to shoehorn that in? And I've got the matches listed down in sort of no particular order apart from its title matches at the end and then non-title matches. Sort of that's the way we're going to cover them. So as I already said, this is the third 2-day WrestleMania that they've done. This is the first time they've incorporated the Raw previous to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Into this. So the Monday Night Raw just gone was WrestleMania Raw. Like, okay, I get it because SmackDown's on a Friday night and then WrestleMania Saturday, WrestleMania Sunday. I get that. WrestleMania SmackDown.
Yeah. And
kinda
then you
works.
have Raw after WrestleMania, which isn't like official, but it's always something special.
It's like the start of a new season. That's kind of how WrestleMania is the end of the season per se. That's how they kind of see it. That's how they work it out. So, I mean, as I say, with SmackDown on Friday, that kind of works. And then you go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, WrestleMania, then Raw Monday, and it works. It all gels together. This year, they're like, let's do WrestleMania Raw, and let's make it a SmackDown and Raw guys kind of thing. Because it looks like they're abolishing the brand split, which we'll get into on the Sunday night, because it kind of comes in with one of those matches there. On the WrestleMania SmackDown, which is this coming Friday, they are having a Battle Royale.
Yes.
A 17-person Battle Royale.
Funny number.
Yeah.
Is there any significance, or just they
probably
don't have enough guys?
Yeah, they probably got enough guys. And then you've got Ricochet defending his Intercontinental Championship against Los Lotharios.
Yeah.
Both members in a handicap, like a triple threat match. It's like, well, what?
So if Los Lotharios win, who is the champion? Are they joint?
It depends on how they play it.
Or is it whoever actually gets the pin? Because then you could get competition in there.
There's twice this kind of thing has happened before, to my memory. There was Layla and Michelle McCool, who were co-champion.
Okay.
And they cut the belt in half.
Yeah.
And they were the co-champions, so one had half, one half. The other time this happened was when Undertaker, Kane, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, my boy, were in a triple threat match, and Vince decreed that Undertaker couldn't beat Kane, Kane couldn't beat Undertaker, so they both pinned Austin at the same time. But who wins the match? So the title was kind of vacated at that point, because the champion got beaten. So I guess if that happens, it could go either way.
Yeah.
Putting a title belt on Angel Garza or Humberto Carrillo is a bad move, full stop. But the problem is that since Ricochet's won this Intercontinental Championship, the second most prestigious title in the company, a lot would argue, he's lost every single match.
Yeah. Which makes me think he's going to win that, just because they want to, spring it back. He faked you out. He's actually really good.
But what was the... I mean, he lost to... I want to say it was Humberto on last week's SmackDown, and then he had a fit. It's like, it's not going to end like that, and he lost again. Was non-title. And then he lost to Austin Theory on WrestleMania Raw.
Yeah.
What was the relevancy of losing to Austin Theory? It makes no sense.
You know what the relevancy is?
Vince hasn't got a clue what he's doing.
It's WWE. There is none.
Yeah.
It's whatever they feel like.
as we said, the Intercontinental title is going to be up for grabs. Finn Balor is one of the competitors in the Battle Royale, who's the United States champion. Neither of those belts are being represented at WrestleMania.
They got 2 whole nights. They could fit it in easy.
Like, those are apart from the 24/7 title, which will probably make an appearance with this stupid marrying thing. Oh, this is ridiculous. Those are the only 2 titles that are not on the line at WrestleMania. Intercontinental title and United States Championship. Like, those are very pristine. They have a lot of history to them. You know, Pat Patterson was the first Intercontinental Champion. So many big names. Usually you would go for the Intercontinental Championship. Once you won that, you've kind of springboard up to the main event to go for the world title. So that's how it used to be. And it was the same with the United States Championship in WCW. Yeah. You'd have that stepping stone. It's the mid-card title almost, but it's so prestigious, both of them. And they've just kind of gone, you know what? We're going to bring in Johnny Knoxville. We're going to bring in Logan Paul. We're going to bring in Pat McAfee. And we're going to have those guys on the biggest show of the year, the most stupendous show of the year. And we're not going to have the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
And we're not going to have the United States title. Get out.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense.
Trash. Absolute trash. Hate it. Yeah.
I think the Battle Royale could still be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't write down the participants because it's technically not part of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame could be good this year.
Yeah.
So you got the Undertaker as the head of the class, Vader's going in, you got the Steiners going in, Queen Shamel going in is a bit of a stretch, but okay. I guess they needed some sort of female representative, but there's probably, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but there's probably a dozen names you could look through and pick off and go, yeah, her, you know, but yeah, I don't know.
So.
And then we've obviously got NXT Stand and Deliver.
Yeah.
So that seems to have 7 matches this time around. I haven't watched NXT since, about a year, maybe? Something like that. Especially since the rebrand, the 2.0 thing.
Yeah.
I don't really want to see a rainbow throwing up on my screen every week. And, you know, not to take away from half of the guys and girls working there, they might be great, but I've just lost interest in it.
Yeah.
It's not the same as it used to be.
No.
And people are, well, that's what the reboot's for. Well, yeah, but NXT had something special.
Yeah, it did.
And now it doesn't. So what the hell? You know? I gotta make one quick note, because something just popped in my head, actually. But yeah, anyway, so there's a lot of stuff going on. I got rags fur in my mouth, I think. Quick, brief side note, Ring of Honor are making their comeback on, I think it was Friday, Supercard of Honor. So they're having an event on April 1st. This will be the first AEW Ring of Honor. I don't quite know how they're gonna... No, I don't quite know how they're going to, not advertise it, because already advertising, but sort of go from here. Is it going to be an AEW branded promotion? Is it going to be a Ring of Honor branded promotion? Nobody really knows yet, and Tony Khan's sort of playing out close to his chest, and I don't blame him, you know, it's going to be interesting. They have announced a couple of matches, and one of which is the tag titles, the Ring of Honor tag titles. The Briscoes are defending against FTR. Now, they teased this back in, I think it was January, and I'm looking forward to that, because that could be really good. Rags is playing behind us. Okay. But yeah, so without sort of getting this overly long with other stuff, we're just going to start diving into the matches.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, like I've already said, we've got title matches are kept to last, apart from one thing, which is going very last. And then Leanne's stomach wants to get involved, apparently. And we've got all the non-title matches in the beginning, in no particular order. I mean, if I really looked at it hard, I could probably put them in an order where I was not looking forward to some of these, but, you know, hey-ho. So, first up, we've got Drew McIntyre is fighting, we'll see, Happy Corbin. This has been sort of brewing since... Oh, hello. Yeah. Hi, Rex. Like December, January. Because I know there was a match that they had Drew McIntyre fight Ridge Holland at day 1, I believe it was. Just look back at my notes briefly. Yeah, Drew versus Madcap Moss, not Ridge Holland. I'm thinking the other two. Rags.
Check out the camera.
What are you doing? Hello. And it's just been Corbin fighting these guys constantly for the last 3 months. Apart from when he was out with an injury, obviously. But it's just been a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, it's... I get long-term feuds, but this is not the right way to do it. You've got Drew McIntyre facing Madcap Moss every single week, pretty much. You're cold. Your nose is really cold, right? For the last couple of months. And it's just been boring and it's stale and it's not progressing the storyline. Mm-hmm. The only thing that sort of really progressed it is on Raw when Drew McIntyre showed up and had a handicap match with Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. And Happy Corbin kind of ran away from the match and stole Angela. I was hitting the end of days.
Yeah.
So he obviously, Madcap Moss lost against Drew McIntyre. And Corbin came in, blindsided him, gave him the end of days, and then he stole the sword. But we've done this before.
Yeah,
why is this being rehashed when it was only done like 3 months ago, if that? It's probably not even 3 months.
I know. You got other guys that could really do with some story development, and you're giving all the time to doing the same thing over and over again. But I don't know why we're surprised. It's like every pay-per-view we say the same stuff, because they're always rehashing and repeating.
Yeah. And then you've got, again, not to blow smoke up AEW's rear end, but the amount of times they've had, they've had Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker maybe 3 or 4 times in the last year.
Yeah, and it's always
not
escalating.
The last 3 months, in the last year.
Yeah.
And that speaks volumes. Mm-hmm. They've got such a diverse roster, and they try and give everyone as much of a showing as they can on Rampage, on Dynamite, on Dark Elevation. And it's great that they do that. And then WWE is just coming along and they're like, let's have a look. Drew McIntyre, Madcap Moss. Let's give them a 6-month run. Yeah, we'll have them fighting each other every single week. It's fine. No one will get bored of that.
Yeah.
What? Really? Everyone's getting bored of it. So as such then, who have you got winning this match? Because I think we spent too much time on this already.
Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I have to agree with
that.
Yeah. Okay, next match. It's a tag team match. It should have been a 6-man tag team match if the insiders are to be believed.
Okay.
But unfortunately, one of the participants of the 6-man match got severely injured when Ridge Holland hit a belly-to-belly suplex on Big E on the outside of the ring on SmackDown, and Big E literally landed on his head and fractured 2 of his vertebrae. So he effectively broke his neck. Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, that was.
That was painful to watch. And yeah, we really hope Big E gets well. He's got motor functions. He can move. He's out of the hospital. He's walking around. That's great. He's obviously not going to be in ring for quite some time. But that could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. I think he got. It should never have happened. Yeah. But he got lucky for.
He got very lucky
for the situation he was in.
Yeah.
And he's making a recovery, and we'll see him again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just might be a little way down the line, so he can recover fully.
No, it could be really good. What's that on his foot?
Yeah, he's got something on his foot.
What could be really good is if you bring him back and he turns on the New Day and becomes heel. Because I can imagine Big E as a really vicious heel.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like Bobby Lashley, But I think Big E's got, no offense to Bobby Lashley, I like Bobby Lashley, but I think Big E's got a lot more charisma. And I think he would have a lot more charisma as a heel.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
But yeah, anyway, so getting back on the topic, we've got the returning Xavier Woods, who had an injury. I can't remember the injury was, but he's returned on WrestleMania Raw this past week. And he's teaming with Kofi Kingston, so it's the New Day, effectively. And they're fighting Sheamus and Ridge Holland, not Butch. Sorry, Pete Dunne. Butch.
Ugh.
Stupid. You had an established guy, Pete Dunne, one of the longest reigning champions in history of the NXT UK. No, it's not the NXT UK title. It's just the United Kingdom Championship, isn't it? Yeah, United Kingdom Championship, but the brand is called NXT UK.
Yes,
so,
that's right.
He won the first inaugural tournament to win that title. Yeah. He's the first title holder of the UK Championship. And what do? Bring him in and call him Butch.
He's so good. He doesn't deserve that.
He doesn't. He really doesn't. He's looking good. He's in good shape. I haven't seen him for a while. He's been on NXT, and as I say, I've not been watching NXT for a while.
I do like that in this Butch character, he just looks angry all the time, and in my head, it's just he's angry because he's called Butch.
Because of the name. Yeah. No,
just channeling
that. Yeah, so I mean, for some reason, Sheamus and Holland went after Kofi. I don't even remember when this started or how it started. It might have been them that injured Kofi. Not Kofi, Xavier Woods. I honestly don't remember off the top of my head.
I can't remember. I don't know. It clearly hasn't been meaningful enough, is
it? It really hasn't.
Or it would have stuck.
I think the only thing that stuck with me this is the Big E neck injury.
Yes.
And Butch.
Yeah. Because they're both tragic incidents.
Yeah. Got obviously New Day are established. They've had so many title runs. They're the longest running tag team champions in history of WWE. Sheamus and Holland, they kind of got thrown together late last year.
Yeah.
And obviously they got Butch with them now. And I think, again, there was supposed to be a 6-man tag match with all of New Day against them. That's pretty much all we got, though. I mean, that's that. I mean, Sheamus is great. He's former world champion numerous times. He's capable of having some great matches at Mania. Holland...
Yeah.
I mean, he done Biggie in his head, so...
Yeah.
You know. Who have you got?
I have a feeling it's going to be Sheamus and Holland.
Yeah.
I don't know why specifically, but...
Well, they're not going to end the feud. I don't think they'll end it here because Butch hasn't seen any interaction. He's not had any actual matches since he's been brought up. So
needs a way into it.
I agree. So I think... maybe Butch will get involved. Butch's going to be there on the outside. I can't take this seriously. Pete Dunne will be there on the outside. And he'll get involved. And the ref won't see it or something to that effect. And it'll cost New Day the win. And I think that'll sort of just further it down. And maybe they'll be like, right, well, we're bringing in a third person to help us. And then it'll be a 6-man tag match on Raw, maybe.
Yeah.
So then we might have a surprise return or a surprise debut. Maybe they'll bring Veer in. Because he is making his debut after all this time. 6 months. He's making his Raw debut this coming Monday. I don't know if I'm more excited for WrestleMania or to see the end of these stupid coming soon to Raw.
I just feel like it'd be really funny. Not that I wish ill on anyone, that if he gets COVID and can't go. And have this build up and finally given a date and he won't be able to make it.
If that happens, you heard it here, folks. You heard it first here. Okay. Next is another one that kind of came out a bit of a left field. I think this came from... was it Elimination Chamber? When did you fight his Elimination Chamber? Let me just check my notes here a sec. Yeah, Rey Mysterio and Miz were on the kickoff show of Elimination Chamber. I believe Rey Mysterio won. Yes, he did. And Miz kind of took exception to that. And then there was an interview at some point on that show where he said, well, I'm going to find backup on my own. I'm going to bring in an all-star, blah, blah, blah. And I think I predicted this during the Elimination Chamber reaction event. Rags. During the Elimination Chamber event where I said that they're probably going to bring in friggin' Logan Paul.
Yeah.
And what happened, Leanne?
They brought in Logan
They brought in friggin' Logan Paul. Or as Corey Graves was taken to him after he stole Mysterio's mask, or Miz stole Mysterio's mask and gave it to Logan Paul. Lucha Logan!
Yeah, that's what the Miz called him, isn't it?
Stupid. Yeah, that's right. Stupid.
Yeah.
Again, you're releasing all this talent to no end. Like Cesaro. Imagine him in WrestleMania. He could have been in so many great spots on this card. And what have they got? Logan friggin' Paul. The guy should have been cancelled years ago when he went to the Akigahara Forest in Japan. He should have been cancelled then, and nobody should be looking at this guy and giving him millions and millions and millions of dollars every single year. Because he's a disrespectful piece of trash who has no respect. It's disgusting what he did in that forest. I'll never forget what he did in that forest. And regardless of anything else he's done, that's his stamp on life.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to remember him for, and what a lot of people remember him for. Unfortunately, too many people are like, oh, it was just a joke. Just a joke. But yet cancel culture is rife, so why has he dodged this bullet? I don't understand this. So one person makes one comment, James Gunn, for example, I can't remember what the comments were, makes a comment 10 years ago, and he gets fired by Marvel from Guardians of the Galaxy. And yet Logan Paul disrespects someone who had so many mental issues or disabilities, or whatever led them to do that to themselves in the Akigahara Forest, which is also known as the Suicide Forest. When he was there, he filmed it, he made a joke of it, of someone taking their own life, and yet he's allowed to make millions. He's allowed to appear on WWE TV. Mm-hmm. He spent, was it $1 million on Pokemon cards? And somebody the person sent them the boxes, and inside were G.I. Joe cards. And yet he got a refund for that.
Yeah, he did.
No, mate. No. If you've got that millions of dollars to spend on little bits of card like that, you clearly have way too much income for nothing, and you get what you deserve. You should not have been given a refund for that, and you should not be at WrestleMania. And that's I really don't want to talk anything more about this piece of trash.
Giving him too much time.
I don't like the Mysterios, but I'm absolutely rooting for the Mysterios to win, and I'm going to put the Mysterios to win.
Yeah, I think they will.
And it's a shame, because I really like the Miz.
Yeah. And
you can do so much better than being lumped with this piece of trash.
Yeah.
Hate it. Absolutely hate it.
Moving on.
So the last non-title match we've got, and this has been a bit of a roller coaster, is Seth Rollins. Seth freaking Rollins. And obviously we'd have flashed the card up with a picture of Seth and his opponent, technically, who is unknown at this point.
Yes.
So Kevin Owens and Seth obviously had a string of being a tag team. I don't think there are any more.
No.
Kevin Owens and Seth fought for the Raw Tag Team titles. They lost that chance. That last opportunity, as Corey Graves was calling it, to carve a path to WrestleMania.
Yes.
So they didn't win the Tag Team Championships. And KO came out and he's like, right, I'm going to host a KO show and I'm going to have a guest on there, blah, 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 blah. And we'll get to that after. And then that's kind of went from that. So then Seth Rollins comes out next week and he's like, I know what I'm going to do. If I beat you in a match, Kevin, I take your guest for the KO show and I also have him as a guest on my show. So they have a match and Kevin Owens wins. So Seth Rollins still has no way to WrestleMania. So then another match on the Sunday is going to be Edge and AJ Styles, which we'll talk about in the Sunday video. But then Seth Rollins tries weaning himself in that as well. AJ Styles is in the ring and he's like, yeah, Edge to this, Edge that. And Seth Rollins comes out and he's like, nope, if I beat you, then I get your match. And AJ's like, nope. And then out comes Pierce and Sonya Deville. And they're like, that's a good idea. Let's do it. AJ's just going nuts. And Seth's like, ha ha ha, I'm going to win. AJ beats him. Seth is not in the match. It's still Edge versus AJ Styles. So then, and that was on not Monday's Night's Raw just gone, but last week's. Then at some point over the weekend, there's a text that's been sent to Seth Rollins by Vince McMahon. I'm setting up a meeting for you 9 o'clock Monday morning. I want you in my office to discuss WrestleMania. Something to that effect. So Seth's like, oh, okay, here we go. And they show this vignette thing on Raw, and it's like him, and he's there like just before 7 a.m. He's like, is he ready for me? And the secretary's like, it'll be a few minutes. So he's there, and he's like 2 hours later, wherever.
Clearly looking at a wrist that had
no watch.
Yeah.
And that suit was hideous. And then he goes in, and Vince is there, and he's somber, and he's Vince. He's straight, he's to the point, he's all business. And Seth's like, hey, Vince, hey, buddy, how's it going? What, you wanted to see me? And he puts his feet up on the desk, and Vince's like, get your feet off my table. Takes his feet off, and he's like, why did you jump through all those hoops? Why didn't you just come and see me? And Seth's like, I could have done that. And Vince's like, well, you can't have WrestleMania without Seth freaking Rollins. And as much as I'm not a fan of this character, his in-ring work is stellar.
Oh, yeah.
His WrestleMania stuff is superb. He still holds one of the most OMG moments in WrestleMania history when he interfered in the match between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 31, cashed in his Money in the Bank, and stole the title from both of them.
So good.
It was so good. It's like watching that at like 4 a.m, or whatever it was at that time, and you're flagging because it's 4 a.m, you know, and you're like, oh, I'm tired, this match is going on, and WrestleMania's run for 5 hours, and like I'm starting to flag, and then Seth Rollins runs out, and you're like, oh, what's going on here? He's gonna cash it in, and then it's just kind of like a boom, that shot of adrenaline when you see him running out, and it's like, oh, that was so great. But yeah, Seth Rollins has had some really great matches and good barn burners over the years at WrestleMania. So to Vince then to go, could have just come to me and I could have done something for you, but you had to jump through all those hoops. He's like, okay, cool. So he's like, yeah, you're on WrestleMania. Seth's like, yes, I go to WrestleMania. Who's my opponent? You'll find that out when you're in the ring. And he gets introduced. Now get out of my office. He's like, okay, cool. Then Seth kind of does this weird jumping around thing. And he's like, okay, cool. Yeah. So this leads to a lot of speculation then. So all the dirt sheets, all the fans, all the smart marks, as the phrase goes, they think they know who it is.
Yes.
Due to recent events. Who is it, Leanne?
And Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. Now, it would be great if Cody showed up.
Yeah.
Not going to deny that. Go with me on this one, right?
Okay.
What if it's not Cody Rhodes?
Okay.
What if they default to the original plan that they had? Shane McMahon.
I've seen some of that going around as rumours.
Because that could be a good match.
Yeah.
Shane McMahon's great. He rubbed some people up the wrong way at the Royal Rumble. He was let go from the company. was it about 2-3 months ago now? So who's to say they haven't sort of tempered down the flaring up a little bit and Shane O'Mac comes out? Alternatively, I have made a little list. What if Cesaro makes a comeback?
Ooh.
Who's to say he hasn't re-signed a new contract? He's not done any independent stuff that I've seen. He's not signed with AEW or Ring of Honor or anything like that yet. So that could be a thing. Gable Steveson, the the two-time NCAA champion.
Oh yeah,
he won the second championship. I think it was last weekend. Because he's transitioning to WWE, and he has already said he's going to be at WrestleMania.
Okay.
Whether it's in the crowd or backstage or coming out to do something, who knows? Nobody knows at this point. But he's another one. Via.
No, because then the whole putting him out for coming back on the Raw after WrestleMania will be worth nothing.
But the Raw after WrestleMania is a televised show on syndicated TV. WrestleMania is a premium live event that you either have to pay for or have to have Peacock for.
So
or
it would still count as a
So it would still count. Plus, Via has been wrestling on main event.
Oh, okay.
That's how they've been getting all this footage that you've seen in the vignettes, because he's been wrestling on the C show, as it were. One other one that's been doing the little rounds, and I think this has mainly come from Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
And the fact that a certain tag team are being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Braun Breaker, former NXT champion.
Okay.
Dolph Ziggler went down, took the NXT championship from him because he beat him in a match. And it seems like they're trying to fast track him to the roster because he's the kind of guy that Vince likes. He's big, he's muscly, he's intense. He's like his dad, Rick Steiner. You know, the Steiner brothers getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. And he's exactly like his dad, you know. And that could be interesting.
Yeah.
So instead of having Cody come out, you've got Braun Breaker come into the ring and Seth's like, look at the size of this guy. Because he's been on Raw a couple of times with Tommaso Ciampa. That's another name that could be due. Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah.
You know? But there's a couple of names that you sort of just thrown around there. And then everyone's like, oh, it's not Cody. Oh, no. When's the next possible opportunity he could show up? Monday night after WrestleMania.
Maybe.
Gives people an excuse to tune in. Oh, Cody's still coming. He's got to be still coming. Shows up on the Raw after Mania. Alternatively, it'd be really great if it's Supercard of Honor on Friday night, Cody Rhodes shows up there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And then that would just rip the wind out of all the people's sails waiting for Cody to go to WrestleMania. Either way, I think this is going to be great. I'd like it to be maybe Cody.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence over that because the last time Cody was in WWE, it was Stardust.
Yeah.
And that was trash. That was awful. And that's part of the reason why he left, because they wouldn't let him get out of that gimmick.
But it would be a good opportunity for him to sort of have his WWE moment as his own character if they let him back. So he wouldn't go back if they said, oh, you're only coming back if you're Stardust again.
The problem with if Cody does come back, right, he'll be the hot topic for a month. He'll be the lukewarm topic for maybe 2 months.
Yeah.
And then he'll be stuck in catering. Because he's not Roman Reigns. Because he's not Brock Lesnar. Because he's not Austin Theory. You know, all the guys that Vince wants to put out on the main stage.
Yeah.
That's not them. Cody made his own name on the independents. He made his own name in Ring of Honor after he left WWE. And then obviously started AEW. I don't know if he's got any ties back to that. If he's still a part of the company in terms of the EVP. If he still has some background stuff into it. I don't know. But I feel like if he goes to WWE, he's taking a step back from what he's created.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? So regardless of whoever the mystery opponent is versus Seth Rollins, who have you got?
I think Rollins will lose.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
I agree. They're not going to have someone turn up at WrestleMania and go, ha, yeah, you're losing to Seth Rollins, so what?
And this whole, the build-up of him trying to get his moment, I think having him lose would be really satisfying for everyone.
Yeah, it'll just deflate him so hard.
Got your moment, and you messed it up.
And then you've got an option then to pull him out of this gimmick into something else.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, on to the first of the 3 title matches for this particular night of WrestleMania. The first up is Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. Leanne's grimacing. It sounds like she's in pain. I'm going to let Leanne take this one away. Say what you want to say, Leanne.
If they'd made it a hair versus hair match at this point,
hey, there's still time.
They've got the scissors out. It could happen.
Yeah.
Then I might be interested. But we've seen this too much now.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's been running since SummerSlam. And again, I'm all for long storylines, but how many chances has Bianca had about Becky Lynch?
Yeah. We've talked before about how Bianca's character isn't developing. It's not changing. The only difference is that now she's extra sensitive about her hair.
Yeah.
I've never heard her before, like, the last, I don't know, month or so, being, don't touch my hair. There's never been a thing. She's used her hair. People have used her hair against her. It's just been part of it. And now it's like, don't touch my hair.
But the thing as well is that...
it's not a good change.
Yeah, I mean, the thing as well, for me, is that don't touch my hair. It's not real hair. It's an extension. If you don't want people touching it, take it out. Right?
No, that's the character. In character, it's real hair.
I don't even know if I want to bother going over this anymore because, like, in terms of the whole background of everything, in terms of, like, the SummerSlam and everything that happened since then,
no.
I'm not going to go over that again because we're just rehashing what we've done on previous episodes of this.
I'm hoping that Becky has her goats back.
I think she'll just... WrestleMania tend to have a lot of special gear. So I don't think it'll have goats on the jacket, but maybe something else goat-like.
Real goats.
What if she comes out
on some goats?
Yeah. What if she comes out riding like a bike or something with a goat kind of sculpt or something onto it? Like Triple H always come out with like the crowns or the Terminators, or the crowns, the thrones. Becky comes out with a giant goat motorcycle or something.
Yeah. I don't think there's much that's going to happen in this match that is going to be special or different to what we've seen on a regular
show. The only
show.
thing I see that's going to be special is how Becky Lynch is going to look after Raw.
Yeah.
What happened on Raw, Leanne?
What happened on Raw?
Snip, snip.
Oh, yeah, the scissors. Because Becky got the scissors out to cut Bianca's hair.
They were big-ass scissors, too.
Like big, massive, like the sort of scissors you cut a red ribbon at an opening ceremony.
Yeah, blatantly oversized.
Yeah, but then
like
Bianca
Brutus the Barber Beefcake would have a lot to contend with these scissors.
Yeah, so Bianca cut some of Becky's hair. It wasn't like chop it short kind of cuts.
It was clumps, don't mind.
It was clumps.
It was probably about that length.
So
she had a good handful, and then.
So very, very likely Becky's going to have a short haircut. I think from what it was, I think she could probably style it to not be short.
I think she'd have to have it trimmed because there was some very straight cuts.
Yeah.
When she was doing that interview promo thing backstage.
Yeah. And just to emphasise it, she'll probably get it really short.
It's like a bob.
At least.
Kind of like what Bailey had, I guess.
Oh, I hope she doesn't get a mom cut.
Oh, no, maybe not Bailey, because that was shorter than that was really short, wasn't it?
It'd be interesting to see with like a more pixie cut.
It'd be interesting. But I think for me, it would have been more interesting to see Bianca Belair get her haircut.
Yeah.
And then see how she reacts to that.
Because that's a huge part of her identity.
Yeah. Again, this is the exact same character that was in NXT 5 years ago.
But to me, it's like we've been talking about it could lead to a hair versus hair match. The scissors coming out. Why isn't it now a hair versus hair match?
I mean, they could do that at SmackDown. They could announce that maybe.
It feels like a natural
usually, if it's a hair versus hair, that means bald.
Yes. I don't know. I think both those women could pull off bald.
The last time I remember, the last time in WWE, WWF, was, I want to say it was Victoria, and it was Molly Holly. And Molly Holly she went through that. She shaved her head, and fair play to her. She was great.
It's a big thing.
Yeah, it is.
But it feels like that's where it should be going. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's something to do with stipulation about hair, other than you're not allowed to use it. So
what if then Bianca Belair uses her hair at WrestleMania as a weapon, like she done with that crack she gave Becky about a month ago? That was nuts. That sounded like a gunshot going off, So who's to say that doesn't happen again at Mania? Yeah. And then Becky says, "Look, I'm fed up of this being used. It's an illegal weapon." And then a WrestleMania Backlash. I hate that they call it WrestleMania Backlash, by the way. They have a hair versus hair match. They could, again, string it out. But then you've got the problem of it still being the same match. Yeah. Again. That's
at least there's more at stake. I don't know. Thing, yeah.
But yeah, so it's for the Raw Women's Championship. Who you got?
It's a bit tough because I'm not invested, I think.
Yeah. The problem I've got is will they do the same thing 2 years in a row? Will they have Belair win that championship 2 years in a row?
It depends if they think that they can get the same hype a second time around. When it's, I don't know, it feels very different this time around.
It does.
I loved Bianca Belair this time last year. I was all about it, but it's just gone stale.
Have you had more pop from a bowl of Rice Krispies?
Yeah. I think I'll go with Becky Lynch.
Yeah?
Yes.
I think I'm going to agree. I think I want to put Lynch as well. Again, that might be because I want Becky Lynch to win this.
Yeah.
Because she is the better performer.
Definitely.
She's the better talent. Mm-hmm. She gives the better promos.
Got the more engaging character. And
she's always evolving. Yeah. Like, you look at... I mean, you weren't watching it at the time when she was in NXT, and she came in as just this Irish lass, and then she came in WWE, and she did this steampunk thing, and then she was the man, then there was the girl that she's got now. And she's evolved her character so many times over the years. And there's Belair 5 years later going, skip, swing my hair, skip, swing my hair.
Exactly.
It's the exact same thing, you know? Yeah. And again, the same thing again with Alexa Bliss, right? Alexa Bliss is nowhere on the card. No. Where is Alexa Bliss? A talent, triple A talent, not on the card. Mm-hmm. And she started off with this weird cheerleading kind of throwing pixie dust around the place kind of gimmick in NXT.
Yeah.
You know? And then she progressed to different gimmicks, and then,
Anyway.
Next match on the card is with some of your absolute favourites. It's for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. We've got Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs versus the Usos.
I like Nakamura.
Boogs.
Just for a while they stopped giving him a live guitar, and it made me happy because he doesn't play along. I know it's different. You're playing along to recorded track. It's, you know, playing naturally is dynamic, so it's not always going to be in time or in tune because you're playing along. But it doesn't sound good. And they took away the live guitar for a bit, and I think he was miming along, and now it's back, and you can tell because it's not good.
What's the worst thing about when Rick Boogs comes out?
When Pat McAfee gets on the table.
That.
Why? Every time.
I don't understand why they've paired Nakamura with Boogs.
No.
There's no need for it?
No. I think they got hyped because at one time, I think his WrestleMania entrance, he had live guitar down to the ring.
That was... Oh.
Need to Strauss.
Need to Strauss, yeah, that's right.
Yes, and that was awesome.
Damn, you got that before me. Fair play, I'm impressed.
So in my head, that's the only connection, is having the live guitar.
Yeah.
But Boogs ain't no Strauss.
Yeah. And he ain't no Freddie Mercury, so stop doing the AO thing.
Oh, that's another thing I hate.
He hasn't done it the last couple of times he showed up.
He's still he's trying to style himself on the Freddie Mercury look and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And the only time that works is that girl from, I can't remember, is she from New Japan or something? She's been on a couple of the shows.
Oh,
she puts the moustache on and everything.
Emi
She's got
Sakura?
the mic stand.
I think it's Emi Sakura.
She's great.
Yeah, yeah. But that's legit. That's more like an homage as opposed to, Freddie did it, I can do that.
Yeah, but
no,
he's
you
going
can't.
for the look as well. I think he's trying to be Freddie.
But he's trying to do it in a way that he's kind of copying, not paying homage.
Yeah.
Whereas she is blatantly coming out in the jacket, in the trousers, with the mic stand, whereas Boogs has got a moustache and he's doing the AO. That's two completely different things.
Yeah.
You know?
He'll never be Freddie.
Is it New Japan or is it Stardom? I think it's Stardom.
Possibly. I've only seen when it's like on crossover shows.
Yeah, I think it's Stardom. I'm not 100% sure on that one because there's a few different promotions in Japan, and there's an all-women one. I think she's part of that one.
Okay,
and I'm pretty sure it's Stardom. But yeah, anyway, getting off track here.
Yeah, sorry. Every time.
So the Usos have held the title for some 250 odd days, maybe 260 by this point.
Yeah.
They're a great team. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, they're brilliant. I don't want to see him lump with Roman Reigns though.
No.
This is getting old really quick.
It's another one of those long, so long, drawn out. Same.
The difference is, right, so you've got... I'm gonna show a bit of bias here because it is exactly what it is, right? So you have Roman Reigns and the Usos in the bloodline thing, okay? And they're like, oh yeah, we're number one with the family, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great, fantastic. But yeah, it's gotten really old really quick.
Yeah.
Okay? Vince McMahon versus Stone Cold Steve Austin feud.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't get slow. It didn't get boring. It didn't get repetitive. Because they were always doing something different.
And it was quite a relatable sort of situation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In certain ways.
Whereas someone coming out and going, I'm better than you.
And you know it.
Yeah, I didn't think that through my head before I said that. But yeah, MJ. But then...
He does it better.
Yeah, he did. But he's like, I'm better than you. Acknowledge me.
Yes.
Constantly. And I think that's a byproduct of Vince going, right, Roman Reigns is my guy. I'm going to push him.
Yeah.
And push him. And push him until the people want him. And the problem is, some people are falling into it.
Yeah.
Like you see the kids with the head of the table shirt. You see people going, yeah, Roman Reigns is great and all this kind of trash. And it's like, well,
brainwashing.
No, it's brainwashing. You've jammed him down our throats for so long. That's why it's gotten really boring really quick. Mm-hmm. And he's had the belt the title, 500 and something days, is it? Or I think something like that. What was it? SummerSlam a year and a half ago, I think he won it. Was it? I can't remember specifics, but it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get into Roman Reigns properly on the Sunday show, on the Sunday episode of this, because that's when he's sort of fighting.
Look forward to that.
Yeah, but the point I was making is that you had even things like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, where the story really started off at WrestleMania 12 and culminated at Survivor Series 97 when the whole screwjob thing went down. That was like a couple of years where they would kind of off on all the time. There was a few like that.
Yeah.
But the characters changed in the span of the 2 years. Yeah. Roman Reigns is just doing the same thing he was doing a year and a half ago. So the Usos did have the out. They had the whole thing where one of them was following Reigns and one of them wasn't.
Yeah,
and
that was really interesting.
It looked like he was going to split. And then they just went, we're going to step in line and we're going to be with our cousin.
Yeah. And like, if there was still some conflict, some sort of inkling that they might not, then it would make it more interesting and draw you back in. But they're all like, family.
And the problem is that, and this was something I caught on commentary on Raw, I think it was, on WrestleMania Raw, when they were fighting RK Bro. The Usos were fighting RK Bro, champions versus champions. Mm-hmm. And I think it was Corey said something along the lines of, if the Usos lose this match, what do you think that's going to do to Roman? Will that upset his game with WrestleMania? So, by knowing the outcome of a Roman Reigns match, technically, you know the outcome of the Usos match.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the Usos start losing, Roman Reigns is going to lose.
Yeah.
They've tied it in too much.
Yeah, I think so.
And it gives that too much of a predictability.
Hmm.
You know?
Interesting.
Like, I think this will be a good match.
Yeah.
Like, for all the faults that Boogs has for his guitar work and his AOs and Freddie Mercury look and whatever, excuse me, he could go in the ring. He's a specimen. He's a big guy. And, like, he does that sort of the thing where he lifts him up and he swings him round and he's back in the other way. And it's like...
The strength that takes.
It's crazy.
Uh-huh.
Like, you could probably show a film on that man's back, you know? But I don't see the significance of teaming with Nakamura apart from, as you say, it's just the music thing and the Nita Strauss and the guitar player. Yeah. I don't see that as a valid connection to team them up.
You're going on pointless road trips.
You know, yeah. And this is a shame because I think they're only giving Nakamura this spot because they don't want him to let go of his contract when it expires, whenever that is.
Yeah.
Because AEW, as much as... Well, okay, so Vince's or WWE representatives have previously said in the past, AEW, we don't see it as competition. MLW tried suing WWE because they shut down a show that they were running in a building down the street or something to this effect. They had to literally put in the court document, AEW is our direct competitor, not MLW. So Vince definitely sees AEW as a threat. Nick Khan definitely sees AEW as a threat. Mm-hmm. Not Tony Khan, Nick Khan's the guy in WWE.
Yep.
Just in case you thought I misspoke.
The other Khan.
The other Khan. A lot of the guys in there are definitely thinking, ooh, AEW. You know, Jeff Hardy's just recently joined AEW. Yeah. You know? And there's so many guys who are unhappy. And it's not a secret. Mm. The backstage morale in WWE is in the toilet.
Yeah.
Right now. You know?
Understandably.
And all of a sudden, you've got AEW, and then Tony Khan is now funding Ring of Honor. Mm-hmm. That's potentially two places you can go to.
Yeah.
Depending on how they run it. It might conglomerate into one, but that's still effectively, as it stands right now, there's two different places you can go to.
Yeah.
If Vince doesn't see that as a threat, and he doesn't start looking after some of these guys, they're going to go out that door and they're going to end up on AEW Rampage or Dynamite, you know? And Shinsuke would be number one in that. Who's to say he wouldn't go back to New Japan? Mm-hmm. You know, finish out his career in Japan, his home country.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that's the only reason that they've really put them on here.
Yeah.
Because I think if it wasn't for this title match, Nakamura and Boogs would be in that WrestleMania, the SmackDown Battle Royale, sorry.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. But yeah, so in terms of that then, who have you got?
I had it in my head, and then when you said about when the Usos start losing, Reigns will start losing, it kind of threw me. That threw me.
And it's not dead set, but that's what it seems to be at the moment.
And it might not be like, even if it is that, it might not be like a straight on effect, like the next match. Yeah. I think the Usos will win. Yeah, I agree. I don't see the Usos losing this because this is all tied into that bigger story of the bloodline. Yeah. That's the way I see it. I'd love to see Nakamura win at WrestleMania. Yes. You know, I was all for when he won the Royal Rumble. Uh-huh. And he went to WrestleMania to fight AJ Styles. Yep. And I don't even know how that match was awful. And I wanted to see Nakamura win. I would love to see Nakamura with the world title. You know, because he's a fantastic competitor. Yes. And he's just had so many reigns, just, no pun intended, stuck on him. And he's just been dragged down. And he's not really getting as much of a showing as he should do. Exactly. You know, you watch his NXT stuff. You know, the match when he debuted in NXT against Sami Zayn is one of the best matches you will ever see. Yeah. And I don't give Sami Zayn much praise because I absolutely hate his character right now. Mm-hmm. But he can go in the ring. And that match was so friggin' good. Like, if you've not seen it, find it. Nakamura debut NXT versus Sami Zayn. So good. Amazing match. Mm-hmm. Okay, moving on to the last title match of the night for Saturday, WrestleMania Saturday. We've got the SmackDown Women's Championship match with Charlotte Flair defending against Rowdy Ronda Rousey. Yeah. So Ronda, surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble, comes in, kicks some ass, takes some names, eliminates Charlotte last of all, and wins the Rumble. And then proceeds to go to SmackDown that week and challenges Charlotte Flair for the title. There's been quite a good bit of altercation, between the two. There's been like car parks, sort of fights and submission hold central, this kind of stuff. One of the was it last week or the week before? I think it was a week and a half ago on SmackDown. Charlotte did something to Ronda. She made a hit her in the. I think she hit her. Charlotte Ronda was on the apron. I think she pulled her leg and she hit her face or something on the floor or on the ring apron. And that bit of skin that connects your gum to your lip split that. And that supposedly is just ouch. Like, it's ridiculous, yeah. And because it's so close to that sensitive area, that's so prone to infections. Yeah. So Ronda did put out, like, she's in a lot of pain. She's on a lot of painkillers at the moment. But it's apparently something that's quick to heal. Because it's like if you bite the inside of your mouth or you bite your tongue, it's generally healed within a couple of days. Because it hurts like it absolutely hurts like a mother, yeah. But it heals quite quickly because of the whole ecosystem of the mouth area, and that's what it is. There's good stuff in there. Yeah. So, I mean, like, I can imagine Ronda just getting so annoyed at that. I mean, she probably wouldn't because she is a professional at the end of the day. Yeah. Charlotte. Makes a good storyline, though. Not so much. It'll be interesting to see if there's any altercations this coming Friday night on SmackDown. Well, Saturday morning as we're watching it. We're not going to stay till stupid o'clock in the morning. Yeah. But I would think that they would try and hold off of that, to try and keep them apart. Because you don't want to really get an altercation going just before and risk something like that happening again. Yes, that's true. But as it stands, like, out of the two feuds for the women's titles, I think I preferred this one over the Becky Lynch and Belair one. I think so. Like, Becky Lynch is great, and Belair's just been falling so flat. Yeah. Whereas both of these girls, I absolutely hate Charlotte Flair. But she's done a great job of it, to be fair to her. And there's something about Ronda Rousey. I don't know what it is. It's the resting face, isn't it? She's got a pouty, angry face. But I don't know, she has this sort of air about her that she walks in a room, you can tell that she can kick butt, and her character and her mic work is actually really natural. And I mean, she messed up on I want to say SmackDown last week, where she said the SmackDown what was it? They said that, like, the SmackDown Championship...
Yeah,
and then the Women's Championship. Why do we need to put women in it anyway? The SmackDown Championship.
Yeah, I thought that was great. And that is true.
I've said that.
Yeah. Why do you need to have SmackDown Women's Championship?
Yeah, the men don't have men in their championship.
When the men's one isn't even called the SmackDown Heavyweight Championship. Yeah. It's the Universal Championship. Uh-huh. So just call it the SmackDown Championship.
Why not?
Makes sense.
They're going to move on.
It makes sense for the tag titles.
Yes.
SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Or Tag Team... Because you've got to have that distinction.
Yeah.
But... you don't need to have women's championship.
Yeah,
but she Raw championship, SmackDown championship.
Even though she slipped up, she played that off so well.
She did.
Made a good point with it.
And a lot of that's definitely come through UFC background.
Yes.
Like she went undefeated for so long. I don't know what the actual record was that she was undefeated. She kicked some major ass.
Yeah.
You know, and she's a legit badass.
It's just I am so looking forward to watching her just beat Charlotte up for a bit. I know we've seen it on shows before, but it's WrestleMania, it's going to be an extra good.
And the last time we saw Ronda at WrestleMania was in the triple threat, where it was Charlotte versus Becky versus Ronda, winner takes all kind of thing. But that was what was that, 3 years ago?
In the before times.
I think it was 3 years ago. Yeah, it would have been and it was great seeing them sort of Ronda get her hands on Charlotte like that, but you had Becky Lynch interfering as well.
Yeah.
This time it's 1-on-1. And it's going to be good.
Yeah,
it's going to be good. So who you got on that one?
Ronda.
Absolutely.
Please.
Absolutely. I think it's time to dethrone the Queen.
Yes.
Absolutely dethrone the Queen.
And Ronda is the right person to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's one other thing that's on this show, Leanne. And apparently it is going to be the main event of the evening.
Yes, that's what they've said.
Supposedly this will be the last thing we see at WrestleMania Saturday. Mm-hmm. What is it, Leanne? It's what show is it?
Kevin Owens!
It's the KO show.
Yay!
And who is his special guest, Leanne?
Stone Cold Steve Austin!
It's my boy Stone Cold! 19 years since he had to retire.
Yeah.
Due to injury. Versus The Rock. The second time... Hang on. Third time he fought The Rock at WrestleMania. Unfortunately, The Rock won. But Austin was giving the rub to the guy who was staying. He was passing the torch, as it were. And I get chills just thinking about it now. And I don't think I've ever watched that match back because Stone Cold Steve Austin is my all-time favourite. Absolutely hands down all-time favourite. And I have a lot of fond memories of watching all the antics that they got up to.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was fantastic. It was so good. And then you see Kevin Owens and he's coming out and he's like... and he gives that thing that he just sort of just walks out. And he's like, right, I'm going to host the biggest KO show ever. And Texas sucks. And Texas is that. And they're rednecks. And they were drinking beer and all this kind of stuff. And I'm going to challenge you to come on to my show. And he's like a pregnant pause. He's like, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And everyone's like losing their minds in the crowd. And they're like, what? 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 And it's like, and obviously then Austin sort of did that little... I don't know if to call it a promo. It's like a vignette thing.
Yeah.
Where he's sort of driving down a dirt track road in one of his buggies, his little 4x4 things. And he comes out and he's like, you lit a fire on me, I'm going to come to WrestleMania and I'm going to whoop your ass. And I'm just like... And you know the weirdest thing is? They still haven't said if it's going to be a match or not.
No.
They've just said it's the KO show.
Yeah.
Now, picture this, right? Kevin Owens comes out, he's got all his stuff in the ring, the KO show stuff, all the bits and gubbins and whatnot, right? Glass breaks. Austin walks out in his ring gear.
Yeah.
The crowd is already going to be up to 11 for seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin for the first time in I don't know how many years. They'll see the ring gear and they'll be like, he's having one more match. And they will just crank it up to 20.
Yeah.
And I will too. I'm not going to lie. And I've still got... I don't want to sort of get my hopes up.
No.
But I really want to see that.
It would be.
Just see Stone Cold come out one last time, just absolutely brutalise Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And I like Kevin Owens, but he's poking the wrong rattlesnake right now.
Kevin Owens is going to love getting beaten up by Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Well,
it's going to be the best time of his life. It's
going back to the MJF CM Punk thing.
Yeah.
Where you had that photo of a young MJF meeting CM Punk. There's one going on the internet of Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
It's like a teenager Kevin Owens meeting his idol, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It's so good.
And it's so good and I can't wait for this. Yeah. And this is definitely going to be the highlight of my WrestleMania Saturday, hands down, without a shadow of a doubt.
Because there's a chance that it's just going to be a couple of stunners maybe, and then drink some beer. It could just be...
But it's going to be even if it is just a KO show, there will be a lot of banter before that happens.
Oh, yeah.
And you know Kevin will try and make the first move. Mm-hmm. And the Austin will just be like, nope.
Yeah. So whether or not it's an actual match, it could be a brawl, or it could just be a few stunners back and forth, and then Stone Cold drinking beer. But whatever it is going to be amazing to watch. I haven't seen Stone Cold Steve Austin in the ring, like on a current show before.
Last time Austin was in WWE was for 316 Day in 2020. It was the first Raw show without a crowd.
Right, yeah, that's right.
Do you remember Byron Saxton was jeering? He was kind of baiting him a little bit, and he came in the ring, and Austin booted him in the undercarriage instead of in the gut accident because Byron was a bit too close. So Austin caught him in the sweet and tenders, and then gave him a stunner. Prior to that, it was WrestleMania. I can't remember what year it was. It was when you still had what were they calling themselves? There was Rusev, Sheamus, Wade Barrett, and someone else, and it was the League of something. And there was the four of them, and they'd just beaten the New Day, and out comes Mick Foley, out comes Shawn Michaels, and Shawn's like, glass breaks, Austin comes out, and everyone's like... I think that was in Texas. I think it was in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, he had a Dallas 316 shot.
Okay.
And then he came down, and then he was hitting Miro in the corner. He punched him, and he obviously wasn't in ring shape, and he tore his shoulder.
Ooh.
And he still carried on. And then he did that whole thing with the New Day when he was pretending to dance with Xavier Woods, and then he booted him and stunned him, and he was like, yes, great, that's amazing. Prior to that, WrestleMania with Hulk Hogan came out, calling the Superdome the Silver Dome. Whoops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna. Yeah. So yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, Austin all the way is gonna be the highlight of that night for me. I mean, this should be the highlight of both nights. Just have the KO show on both nights.
Yeah.
You know, great. Just watch Austin kick ass all night. It'd be brilliant. I'd watch 5 hours of that.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that's actually I wanted to touch on briefly was. There's 7 matches here. That's probably going to be 3 to 4 hours.
Okay, yeah.
Previous WrestleManias have been one night. And prior to... I can't even remember what year it was. I think it was WrestleMania 2000 was the first 4-hour pay-per-view. Since then, they've sort of had 4 hours for WrestleMania and 3 hours for others. It seems to be creeping up a lot more these days.
Yeah.
And then one WrestleMania, I think, topped like 7.5 hours. And that was one show.
Night.
Now, I don't mind them splitting it across 2 stupendous nights. Let's try to get another one in. But don't make both shows 4 to 5 hours long.
No.
Keep them around that 3-hour mark. That sweet spot. Because you're going to lose interest.
Yeah.
You're going to lose people. Especially with some of the caliber of these matches. Like Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. That's probably going to be around the middle of the card somewhere. That's like the prime, go get a beer and take a toilet break.
Yeah.
Moment.
Yeah.
You know?
It's going to be flat.
Yeah. And it'll be the same on Sunday. You know? But yeah, so that was our predictions. There's nothing to write down for the Austin one because, let's be honest, KO has dug himself a very early grave and he's going to be lying in it by the end of Saturday night. And that's the bottom line, Leanne.
Yeah.
Why?
Because Stone Cold said so.
Oh, hell yeah. Look forward to our Sunday predictions. We'll drop that either tonight or tomorrow, depends on how fast we can get these edited. Either way, look forward to that. Don't forget to hit the comments. Let us know what you're looking forward to the most. Who do you think's going to win each of the matches? Are you looking forward to more to the Saturday night or the Sunday night? Socials are below. Don't forget to click the like button if you like the video, or click the like button if you didn't like the video, I guess.
Just like it.
Just like everything.
I mean, what harm does it do? It's just a button.
Yeah, it's just a button, guys. Just like that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. You get notifications if you hit that bell as well for when the new videos go up. We will be doing reactions, obviously two different ones. One for Saturday, which will drop on Sunday, and then one for the Sunday, which will drop on Monday at some point. Probably later in the day because we're not going to stay up till 4 or 5 in the morning.
Nope. We are too old for that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But yeah, so with that being said, we hope you enjoyed, and we hope you look forward to WrestleMania as well as our Sunday predictions, and we'll still see you on the other side. See you on Sunday.
Bye.